Hi, hello, my name is Kai, and today we're going to do my May wrap-up. And we're going to make this quick because I'm honestly really tired. Today has been a long today. See, I'm already starting and I don't know how to say words. It's been a long week. Okay, it's been a long week and I've been wanting to record this video for 5 days now. It's June 5th. We're just gonna get to it and we're gonna try to make this like 5 sentences or less. You feel me? I read 12 books this month, which is 3,995 pages. 5 more pages would have been so nice to get that even number of 4,000. Anyway, all the books I read this month was non-fiction. For genres, I read 6 romance, 4 young adult, 4 thriller, 3 dystopian, 2 LGBTQ, 2 fantasy, 2 contemporary, and 1 mystery. 42% of the books that I read was digital and 58% was physical copies. 42% of the books, which is equivalent to 5 books, was 300 pages or less. 50%, which is equivalent to 6 books, is 300 to 499 pages, and then 8%, which is 1 book, is 500 plus. The moods that Storygraph told me I read the most, and this is from greatest to least, is dark, tense, mysterious, adventurous, emotion, funny, and lighthearted. Out of all the 12 books I read 2 ARCS, which is super exciting. So that's going to be fun to talk about. And then my average star rating for the month was a 3.92. So we're just going to get started. The first book that I read for May is Where the Sleeping Girls Lie by her. I'm not gonna botch this name. I've botched way too many already. This is a YA mystery thriller. I have my notes here because I kind of forgot all the books that I read in the beginning of the month. I kind of forgot my feelings of them. So I have my notes here. So if you see me glancing that way, it's because I'm looking at my notes, alright? This book was super fun though. I devoured this book over the weekend. This was a great YA dark academia mystery thriller. It had really engaging characters that I love, and I think this author wrote this book perfectly. It was a little slow to begin with, but even though it was slow, it was still so entertaining. I just wanted to read to know what was happening. I feel like the plot of the book is kind of, I don't want to talk about it too much because I don't want to spoil anything for anyone, and I feel like I went into this book blind. I think I enjoyed it because I did that. So I'm just saying I think you should pick this book up because it was great. If you like the dark academia plot lines, this was good. It was a little slow, and that is the only reason why I rated this book a 4.5. Because the storytelling and the mystery definitely just takes you on this amazing journey, and it had a lot of dark things in it. So please look out for those trigger warnings, but nevertheless, I feel like the things that they were touching bases on in this book was great. Chef's kiss, okay? The next book that I read in May is The Quiet People by Paul Cleave. This is my first time reading from this author, and I must say it was done very well. The cover is the thing that drew me into this book, and it did not disappoint. I was questioning everything in this book the entire book. So many different twists and turns in it. It kept me on my toes throughout the whole thing. I wish I could have like binge read this book because the first day I picked it up, I got halfway through it. And then the next few days, things started getting a little crazy for me, so I couldn't really finish it the way that I planned it on, but it was so entertaining from start to finish, okay? This book is a mystery thriller book, and it was mystery and thrillering, I must say. I feel like I've talked about this book a few times. It is about a couple who are writers and their kid goes missing, so everyone in the town pretty much think that they did it because of the type of books that they write. And it just goes off from there, and it was super great. I rated this a 4.5. If you like those type of books with the great mystery and you really want good twists and turns, this is the pick for you, okay? I shall recommend this to you. The next book I read was The Fake Dating War. This was an ARC sent to me by the author on Instagram, so I would just like to say thank you so much for being my first author to ever send me an ARC. I really, truly appreciate it, and it was so much fun to read this book, okay? Let me tell you. So this book is a contemporary romance. It pretty much goes off of a workplace, enemies to lovers, and it was just really fun. I had a great time reading this. When I started reading this book, and in the first few pages, I was just busting out laughing. That's the moment that I knew this was going to be a good read. Okay, this was going to be the one. The banter in this book was to die for. So it's definitely giving that enemies to lovers, workplace enemies to lovers type of thing, and I was there for it. And I actually felt for both of the characters in this book. Like, there wasn't one character I was like, oh, I felt for both of the characters, but I thought the writing was great. I thought it was very easy to get into and to connect with the story. I didn't connect with the characters that much, but I connected more to the story and their life stories, I guess I should say. The romance was hitting in this book. Hitting. Okay, the spice level in this book was way more spicy than I thought it was gonna get, which I love spice, don't get me wrong. I love spice, okay? But some certain words I don't fully love being said or me reading them. But other than that, the spice definitely was well performed. But all in all, I really enjoyed this book, and I really enjoyed the work the author put into this book. I would definitely read more from this author too. She also has a few other books already out that I can see myself reading in the future. But I rated The Fake Dating War a 3.75. So I definitely recommend it. You should go check it out. It kind of reminds me of The Hating Game in a way. So that was good. Now the next book that I read in May was something that I was anticipating reading for so long. I've had this book on my shelf for so long, so I was glad to finally get it done. Fourth Wing. I read this with a reading buddy. She was dope. The reading buddy experience was super dope. I'm already doing it again. That's how cool it is, okay? If you're out there and you want a reading buddy, then hit your girl up, okay? Just let me know. Comment down below, alright? Because I would love to read a book with someone and talk about it. It is so much fun. Now back to the book. I love this book. I think that's the only sentence that I really need to say, is that I love this book. It was a little slow in the beginning for me, but I think that was just the world building, really, and I think that was just a me problem, not the book problem. But around page 55, I was in love. Okay, Team Zayden. All the way. I really enjoyed every single character in this book. Rhee was my favorite for a long time, and then Liam came over and just stole the show for me. Everyone's personality was just so much fun, and it was just like, oh, why is this fantasy? I want you guys to be in my life, to be my friends, okay? I didn't know I could fall in love with dragons so hardcore, but I did. I did, and I'm not mad at it. Lil T and Goldie is the cutest, and I'm naming, because I'm not sure, for the big dragon, I'm not sure if it's Taran or Tyran. So in my little book club, we're calling him Lil T. I think that's hilarious. Okay. So Lil T and Goldie are my favorite. I want dragons now. Someone, you know those memes where people like open up, like they're reading a book and then they just like dip and then they're like inside this fantasy world? Yeah, that's what I want to do. The slow burn and enemies to lovers in this book was to die for. And I'm actually, sneak peek, I'm actually reading Iron of Flame currently, so I am excited to be right back into this world. Honestly, it's really so much fun. I rated this book a 4.5 stars. You Shouldn't Have Come Here by Geneva Rose is the next book that I read. This book is actually really good. It had me hooked from the beginning. Even though not much really happens throughout the book, it was just this whole mysterious tense thing going on that I didn't want to put it down. Like, there was something about it that was just like, oh, but I have to keep reading another 50 pages. Like, I have to know what's about to happen, even though not much was happening. It was really a weird feeling for me reading this book, honestly. It's one of those books where you just gotta bring the vibes and, you know, tuck your logic in bed. Because if you use the logic while you're reading this book, you might not like it. But for me, it was just one of those mindless reads. And I thought it was good. I didn't think it was that bad. The ending definitely made you understand the whole purpose of the book. And I rated this book a 3.5. It was good. It was good. what can I say? The next book that I read is Where the Magic Begins by Faith Prince. I think I read this also for a video. I think the last book I read for a video too. I'll have the link right here in case you're curious and want to watch it. I thought this book was super fun. It's in real world, like real life, like day to day, today's world, but it has a different world, which is like the witches world, and this book is about witches and vampires and shapeshifters and magic. Okay, all the fantasy stuff that you would want, this book had. Okay, the writing was done so freaking well, like really well. Like even sometimes I'm just like, I can't believe this author is like not blown up already. Like the writing was so well done. The two main characters, which are sisters, they're like half witch and half human, so it was really cool to see like how people were reacting to them and how they can't like let humans know that they are humans. It was kind of like a, you know, a Twilight moment. They're not trying to let the human know that there are vampires walking around. It's kind of like that. I'm not gonna go too far into it because then I'll just keep talking forever, and we're trying to make this 5 sentences or less. And I'm doing a horrible job at it already, but it's okay, it's fine. There was a little bit of romance, but it is a YA book, so I wasn't thinking it was going to go too in depth, but I thought this was a great book. It was really fun to read. You know that one movie Twitches? That movie, that's this book. So if you love that movie and you want to read something like that that's similar, this is the pick for you. Okay, I rated this book a 3.75 and I thought it was amazing, and now the second book is going to be released, or it is released really soon, so I'm excited to get to that. The next book that I read is Late Bloomer. First 5 freaking stars of the year. No. First 5 freaking stars of the month. Okay, I love this book. I'm looking at my notes and it's like 4 paragraphs long. That's how much I love this book. I'm not gonna go ahead and say everything that's in my notes, because then I will just be, the 5 sentence rules is already out the window. I'm trying to at least now stick to 10. This book was just so freaking good. I absolutely loved it. I loved everything in it. I loved the story, the plot line, the 2 main characters, all of the side characters, everyone. I loved everyone. Okay, I loved the aspect of the flowers. The enemies to lovers was slightly there, but it felt more like strangers to lovers, because they didn't really hate each other, but they were definitely strangers, and they're like, who the heck are you? But I thought this book was super relatable, not just about like the sexuality part, because this is an LGBT book, hello, yes, cover. Not just that part, but more of like real life situations that happened in this book. I really just vibed with it, and it was kind of giving me everything I wanted. The spice scenes in this book is given. Spice scenes level top tier, alright? Alright? Warning. Now, because spices has taken over in this book after you get to a certain point, and it's just like, oh my god. And the ending for this book was everything and more. I definitely cried a few times. I do not have my tabs in yet because I have been a little bit too busy to have the chance to put my tabs in, but trust me, there's too much underline here, but that's probably why I haven't tabbed it, because I don't want to, it's gonna take me an hour at least to tab all that's underlined in here. The first 4 pages I was like with my pen, because I had to, it was that good, and it definitely had me tearing up in the middle, in the beginning, in the end, all throughout, okay, all throughout. And I love this book. This book was giving it. Oh, before I forget, and this is my first time reading from this author, and it will not be my last. It will not be my last, not even close to my last, because I just found a new favorite author. So we'll see if my next book that I read from her, I feel the same way, which I bet I will. So the next book that I read is The Perfect Parents by J.A. Baker. I thought this book was really good. There were some parts on it that I was just like, what is happening? What is actually going on right now? This is a thriller book. It was a really slow start for me, I'm not gonna lie. It was a slow start for me. I just saw it on Kindle Unlimited, and the synopsis kind of got me. So, and I need to be better on my synopsis pick on Kindle Unlimited, because I don't think they be writing what's really real. honestly, sometimes. But then it started off pretty well. Yeah, and then it took a turn down the slow mountains, which pretty much became an uphill battle for me to want to read this book. I'm not gonna front with you. More so because it was just a bit repetitive, and not much was really going on with the story. There was like one part that was just repeating for like 7 chapters straight, and I was like, okay, yes, we get it. Someone has an alcohol. Yes, we get it. Someone has an alcohol problem. Okay, let's move on now. I think we've hit that subject more than enough. It was a bit predictable, but it definitely had its twists and turns in it. There was some parts where I was just so confused on like what is gonna happen next. So that part I enjoyed. I was like, thank you for adding that in. I was half expecting the ending, but I was still wrong, and like I always say, we love that. We love being wrong in a prediction, okay? I rated this book a 3 stars. I thought it was really good, but some things just weren't hitting for me all the way. The next book that I read in May is The Woman in My Home by C.R. Howell. This is my first DNF of the year, and that like literally hurts to say sometimes because what the heck. The reason why you probably won't see that many DNFs on my channel, period, is because I do not like to read books that I know I'm not going to enjoy. If I even have a slight inkling that I'm not going to be down with this book, I'm just going to pass on you, because why am I going to read a book that A, I don't like, and that B, now I have to go write a review that's low-key shitty because I knew I wasn't gonna like said book. I don't think that's fair for me, and I don't think that's fair for the author, because there's so many other people that could possibly like that book for what it's giving, but it wasn't giving it to me. You feel me? There's a lot of things in this book that I was just not vibing with. It was so slow. Yes, it was an arc. I did get it as an arc. I was reading it for an arc review, and it was very, very sad that I had to just say, sorry, I cannot give feedback on this book because this is not the book for me. I do feel like I was a bit fibbed to, okay, because the synopsis was nothing to what the book was giving, and I was not the only one who felt that way, because once I went to go look at reviews after I was like, no, this is it, I can't do it no more, this is done, all the reviews were saying the exact same thing I'm saying. Whoever wrote that synopsis needs to think about their life real quick and rewrite it. I'm not going to talk much about it because I don't want to sit here and like just give a negative feedback on a book that I just did not like personally, but just know it wasn't for me. I DNF'd it 51% of the way. A good 30% of that was me just skimming because I was trying to finish the book so darn bad because I really wanted to write a review that was at least insightful and not low-key hateful. What got me to the point of saying I'm DNFing this book is because even if I was skimming the book and I was only reading 2 sentences on each page, I still knew exactly what was happening with the whole story. Now that's bad, okay? If you don't even have to read the book but you still know exactly what's going on, that's the moment that you need to DNF a book, because that is just not gonna work out for you. That's it. No rating here because I DNF'd it, and it is not a soft DNF. It is a hard DNF. Now, back to the happy place. The next book that I read is Shatter Me. Fabulous. I have been waiting to read this book for so long, and this book has been on my shelf for probably the exact same time Fourth Wing has been on my shelf, so it's about darn time I get to it. I loved everything about this book. I loved the way it was written. I loved the strike-throughs. Because you see the front of the book? The strike-through? Yeah, now I understand. The strike-throughs are kind of like when I'm going through something in real life and I'm thinking about what I want to say to someone, but then like my brain kind of does like, no, you're not gonna say that, you're not gonna say this, you're gonna say this. That's kind of like how my brain works sometimes. The concept of this book was so cool. The world was so cool in a weird way. In a weird dystopian way, okay? I honestly think that could be our world. We'll take away the powers and the magic, but I think that could be our world in the next like 500 years if we don't do better. The long lost childhood trope, childhood friends to lovers trope was really giving actually, and I was in it. It was just really cute. But at the same time, Warner was like I want to know more about Warner, and I felt him. I felt like on a deeper level, even if it was just the first book that I read. Something happened to this man, and I need to know what, how, and why right now. I love this book. I honestly am so excited to just continue down the rabbit hole of this whole series. If you want to really get my full perspective of how I felt for the first 3 books of the series, the link's right there. But I feel like this whole series is definitely going to be giving some X-Men vibes, which I love the X-Men, so I'm I'm here for it. The next book that I read is Destroy Me, and it is pretty much all of Warner's perspective, and I loved it. And I knew something was wrong with this man, so it was really nice just to get his perspective. It's a really short novella. It's like 95 pages or something, and I was there for every single page. I read Destroy Me a 4.5. And then the last book that I read for this month is none other than Unravel Me. This is great. I don't think it was as good as the first book, but it was great. It was really great. The whole story just kept going on, and it was giving me more perception of people who we didn't really get to talk to in the first book, or not talk to, listen to and know more about them in the first book, like aka Kenji. I think the only problem in this book is that the main character was just getting on my nerves sometimes. Just the whole wishy-washy thing that she was doing, I don't know. Like, low-key, sometimes I felt like both of these men could do so much better. I don't know why, but that's just how I felt, okay? I can't say too much about this book because it is the second book in the series, so I do not want to give anything away. But also, on a side note, if nobody wants Kenji, I'll take him. Okay, I'll take him, because why is everyone slacking on Kenji around here? Like, I feel like he's the best right now. I rated this book a 4.5, and I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it, and I cannot wait to continue the series. That was all of the 12 books that I read this month. I only have 7 of the copies, and the rest are on my Kindle or digital, but I think this month I did great. I only read 5 out of the 9 books that I had for my TBR list, or my TBR hopefuls, which I don't think is bad. I still read 12 books last month, so I think that is just as good. Comment down below if you read any of these books. I would love to talk about them with you. Comment down below if you are in a book club, or if you have a book that I'm also reading in June. Comment down below. I would love to join and talk about the book with you. I think that's it. I think I'm gonna sign off here. I appreciate you so much. I hope I get to see you, or you get to see me in another video. Later. Whose car need new brakes? You're just driving around like this? There's so many planes today, and it's fine, but it's like annoying me like this much.